All right, so if you can hear me, um, just throw something in the chat real fast. Just say, hey, what's up? Sounds good, whatnot. All right, so Rick here from Port Zero. I tried this yesterday, but apparently when I went into the playback, um, cool, appreciate it. Gotcha. So when I went into the playback yesterday, I had all sorts of echoes and everything. So I don't live stream much. So I'm still on the kind of the working end of trying to figure all this out. I'm using the software, going through YouTube, and using my OBS studio. So as you can see, Port Zero, I'm here in my home studio. And today we're going to go over the hidden dangers of public Wi-Fi. So one of the things is, if for those that actually follow my videos and watch them, you'll see that I kind of do a lot of security awareness stuff, but I kind of do it through the lens of a threat actor. It's so funny because I come from like 3 different backgrounds over my career. I've been in public service for 35 years, 20 of it being in the military, and then after that, or actually almost 25, because I did some government contract work after I got out, and then worked community as a deputy sheriff for 7 years before I got into cyber. So one of the things I like to do is, so I love to show stuff from a threat actor standpoint. So with the military, they were considered the enemy. When I was working with local law enforcement, they were suspects. And then in the cyber realm, they're called threat actors. So, and what we want to do is, threat actors are everywhere. And today we're going to kind of highlight one of the areas or the environments or the type of environment that you're going to find a lot of threat actors. It breeds threat actors as far as cyber threat actors. So one of the things we're going to hit on today, or today's topic, is going to be public Wi-Fi, and why, if you're going to use it, which I'm not going to tell anybody what not to do, but if you're going to use it, please do it sensibly, do it safely, because a lot of public Wi-Fi out there is not secure. And what I mean by that is, so when you connect to their network, let's just say you're sitting in Starbucks or coffee shop, an airport, a Greyhound terminal, wherever they have free public Wi-Fi. It could be a hotel. And speaking of a hotel real quick, so I got back on Monday, this past Monday. I spent about 6 days out in Las Vegas at the world's largest, arguably the world's largest hacking convention in the world. So DEF CON 33. So that is such an enjoyable experience. And what's crazy, though, is it not only brings, DEF CON doesn't just bring ethical hackers or even just the cyber community together, but it also brings in actual real world hackers, like people that do stuff, unethically. So when you're in Vegas and you have that many people in town, and people are staying at all these hotels, it doesn't matter, you name the hotel on the strip, they all have free public Wi-Fi. So you could be sitting there at night or during the day, wherever, whenever, you could be sitting out by the pool, and you're utilizing the free public Wi-Fi, and you're on their network. More than likely, it's not secure. And now you're doing banking transactions, or you could be emailing somebody, or you could be going to different websites, and you're inputting your credentials, or you're inputting bank account numbers, or insurance policy numbers, stuff like that. Doesn't matter. You could be in social security numbers, dates of birth. That's all considered PII, or personally identifiable information. Stuff that you don't want getting out there into the hands of people that shouldn't have it. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you through the lens of the threat actor of how we can capture credentials in an unsecure environment. So if you're sitting there playing around in public Wi-Fi, and you're not using what we call, and we're going to show today, a VPN. So for those that don't know, a VPN, virtual private network, If you've heard of ExpressVPN, NordVPN, you see all the commercials on TV, right? Norton VPN, all the different VPNs. So what does that do? So if you have that, like for me, for example, I have that on both all my devices, to include my phone, and I have ExpressVPN and I have Norton VPN. So those are subscription-based virtual private networks. So if I'm going to, like, say, for example, I'm going to get on my bank, or if I'm just doing browsing in general, I typically have that VPN running, even though I know my network at home is secure, but I'm going to use that additional layer for that way. It's going to be a secure tunnel. It's going to create that secure tunnel between my device and where I'm logging into. So hence, if you're in a public Wi-Fi spot, highly, highly, highly recommend using a VPN. Okay, so connect to the VPN. I'll kind of show you on the video on what I did create in my environment for this, and then the difference between not using a VPN and then using a VPN from a threat actor standpoint. So I'm going to use a tool called Wireshark, and I'm going to be able to capture credentials into a login site, or like a fake Google site that I created. So kind of going over the materials here. So I've got my home studio. I built an entire virtual network, my port 0 network. I've got a threat actor machine. I've got a victim Windows 11 machine. My threat actor machine's a Kali Linux. I've got an Active Directory network. So I run everything off of my Windows 2000 server, or Windows 2022 server. I've got a logging device, which is, I set up another Ubuntu, so Linux Ubuntu VM that I use strictly as a WASA logging device. So that way, as I attack my own environment, I can see those logs and everything that's going on inside of it. So everything I do in these videos is all for educational purposes. I'm not trying to breed hackers. So please, 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 what I'm about to show you today, it's fun. I love doing it. However, if you were to do this out in the real world, you could be violating the CFAA, which is the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, potentially, because you're accessing, you're capturing packets, so transmissions. So every time you hit your keys and you hit send, you type in your message and hit send, it transmits packets. And so in me, as a guy in the middle, or me sitting in there in that coffee shop, I could be listening to or seeing people's traffic, just waiting for that HTTP or that unsecure connection to come through. And I'm going to show you on this demo exactly how that works. Okay. So speaking of coffee, I've got mine here. I'm in my own, coffee shop per se. So open Wi-Fi, and I'm going to act as both the threat actor and the victim. Okay. So let me transition here over to so let's transition. Okay, so I don't know why. Hold on. Okay. Typically, I don't know why my face, normally it goes into the bottom right corner, but I got to figure that one out. But anyway, I had to make some adjustments on my OBS this morning. So anyway, so right here, you see on your screen, you see my cursor moving. On the left side, I have my Kali machine. And on the right side, I've got my victim machine. So this would be, if I'm the attacker and you watching this, you're going to be on the right side, okay? So kind of get things started for those that actually are technical and understand stuff, and for those that not, either way, I'm going to kind of show you how I set up this environment in case you want to replicate this in your own home studio. So, all right, so this here, I only have one of these VMs that actually can reach the outside network, so, or the outside internet. and it's very controlled. However, all my other machines are all in on a with inside their own network, private network inside, not even touching the outside world. Okay, so one of the things I had to do here is on my victim machine, I had to download and free open source tools. So this is where I like to promote free open source tools, or I should say no cost open source tools, is the OpenVPN Connect. And we're going to show you that today. And why that's important. So for those organizations that don't have the funding and they can't, financially, pay a large subscription for an environment, OpenVPN Connect is good. That is a free downloadable source. The downfall is you've got to be able to create, everything on the back end. So what I did to be able to put this together is I had to create my own VPN server. So my certificate authority, my private keys, establish the server, do my private and public keys, had to do my create my PEM and everything else. So that way the trust between my Windows 11 machine can be trusted with that secure server. So for this to actually happen, kind of had to build that on the backside. Yeah, Ginger Hacker, Andrew, free is king when learning. Yep, exactly. So like I said, these items don't touch the outside network. So I didn't want to pay a subscription for something that I'm using on the inside. So I figured I'd open up my Windows machine to the network real fast, download OpenVPN, and then I'd have to go into my Kali and establish everything in my Kali machine. So I'll kind of show you here real quick the work that goes in behind that. So starting all the way up here, you're creating all your keys. So you got to establish your client, establish your server, your public key, private keys, and all goes into your your key exchange parameter. So, and building that as well. So that way you get all that full trust and confidence going on. So anyway, we won't be using this. Oh, I also, for the tools I use for this, I also set up a Flask. It's an app, it's a Python app. I set up a Flask development to be able to build a web page or the web form to be able to do this. So like I said, everything's internal. I'm not going to fish myself. This is here. I'm just going to kind of show you how this goes. So, all right, so what we're going to do here is I'm sitting in the coffee shop. I want to browse. So I'm the threat actor. I'm sitting here. Right now, our VPN is not connected. So I'll open this up and show everybody. So VPN is off. So right now we're going to demo what it's going to be like to go to or to kind of log in with your stuff from an unsecure, open public Wi-Fi without using a VPN. So the first thing I'm going to do as a threat actor is after I sit down and I get my favorite cup of Black Rifle coffee, I'll sit down and I'm going to open up Wireshark. Wireshark is a packet analyzer tool. So kind of like what I was saying earlier is as you transmit stuff through the open air or anywhere, it's sending it in packets. Okay, so don't think it like, it's like radio frequencies in the air, right? These packets are moving, whether they're wired or whether wireless, it doesn't matter. Everything comes over. And what we're going to do here is we're going to catch TCP packets for the unsecure network, okay? And then once we get over to the secure network, it's all going to be UDP, but this is beyond scope of that, but I just want to kind of tell you. So if I'm a threat actor, I'm sitting down in that coffee shop. Right now I'm at Rick's coffee shop, and I've got Wireshark open. And once I open it, it's going to, since it's all interfaces shown, it's in promiscuous mode. And what I'm doing is I'm looking down to see what it's doing as you run down here. These are all different networks, okay? Are all different networks it's actually picking up. So if I'm sitting in the coffee shop, whatever the name of that network is, it's going to pick it up on the Wireshark. So, so right now I'm going to connect to ETH1 because that is going to be my attack network. So I'm going to hit my little blue fin here, and we're going to start capturing packets. Now, me as the victim, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to browse, and I'm going to go, to whatever website. Let's just say it's Google. And like I said, I made like a fake Google page for this to come up, HTML page. So let this go. There we go. All right, so let's just say I'm going to connect to HTTP and then the .5. And there's my Google page. So two things just happened on the screen. One, my fake Google page came up that I want to log into, right? So this could be, how can this be directed? Well, this could be, so if any user I didn't have to like force this page on anybody. I didn't have to fish this out. Can it be done like that? Yes, it can. However, we're simulating that they're just going to a Google page or they're going to whatever page to put in their credentials, right? And we're capturing it. The second thing that happened, if you've noticed, on the left side, the threat actor in the Wireshark, everything turned green. That's your TCP streams. So I can give a full-blown class on Wireshark by itself. But as you saw, that there was a change. We went from just this right here, the MDNS, right? The multicast DNS, domain name system, to now we're capturing TCP packets. This is you. This is you sitting there on an unsecured network, and it's capturing everything, right? So you can see the source. It's coming from the source. The source is the 227.8, and the destination coming to what I'm looking at right now is going to be that page, which is the .5. So right now, I'm victim. I'm going to sit here, and I'm going to put in, so I'll just put in password 123, and I'm going to hit enter. Cool. So I hit enter. It says thanks for logging in, and then my disclaimer on here. This is cybersecurity awareness demo by Port Zero Cyber Solutions. No real accounts were harmed. Okay. Once again, do this in a protected environment. Don't go out there in a public setting and do this. It's very vague. It's borderline illegal. If you go and read, like I said, CFAA, the Computer Fraud and Abuse, Act, CFAA. So read through that and you'll understand. So we just logged in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here into my search bar now as a threat actor, and I'm going to type in HTTP, and I want to see these streams. So when I look in here, there's something very specific I'm looking for. And in the info, what I'm looking for is this post. That means, look, somebody did a GET request, which for those that don't understand, when you submit to a web page, like I just logged in, right? That's sending a GET request. This is in networking terms for those that aren't technical, right? But the moment we got this page where it says, thank you for logging in, it's a confirmation. On my side, it comes up as a post request. So what I want to do is I want to come to this here. I'm going to come to my post request. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to follow this TCP stream. Boom. Look at that. So as you can see here, it kind of highlights that post conversation from the threat actor standpoint. So this is what I just captured from you using public Wi-Fi. I just captured this on my screen. And what I caught was your credentials or my credentials. So if I wanted to, if this whole page was just a bunch of words, I could parse through this. And what I could do is type in down here, password. It's like a search, it's a search bar. Boom. And it's going to highlight that. So password. So right there, it tells me that on this line right here in this packet, this unsecure packet is showing me the plain text credentials of my email, which right here it says Rick, and then for the computer language, it's going to be %40, which represents the @ symbol, rick@gmail.com, which is not my real email. And then it's going to tell me my password, And look at that, password 123. That's exactly what I typed in. This is plain text credentials. This is what, when you're dealing with open public Wi-Fi on an unsecure network, not using a VPN, this is what threat actors are capturing. So this is something that, how can we prevent this, or how can we help mitigate this, right? How can we protect ourselves while we use an open public Wi-Fi network from threat actors actually seeing my plain text credentials? Well, Rick's got a remedy for that. Well, I don't, but I'm just passing it on. I'm just being the informant for everybody else. So, so as you can see, that whole post conversation, thank you for logging in. Everything that was on their screen, I can see. Okay. So now what we're going to do, let's close out of that. We're going to come back, close out of our search criteria on our packet streaming. I'm going to close back out as a victim. So now you saw what happens when you're on an unsecured network. As from a threat actor standpoint of what we can do, or what was done from them when you signed in your credentials. So, all right. So now what we're going to do is, how can we protect ourselves? Well, we talked about a VPN real quick. It's the VPN, virtual private network. I have a bunch of those, or I have 2 subscriptions. One for my devices, one for my phone, and then my family also has theirs on as well. And it's just that added layer of protection for your device and for you, so that way you don't become a victim to credential theft or possibly identity theft, like you see online or even on TV commercials. So so what you want to use is that VPN. Okay, that's going to be a secure tunnel between what your device and the network you're trying to get into, or the website you're trying to get into. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to open up our VPN, OpenVPN Connect, and we're going to connect to our VPN, the server we set up yesterday. So that can be a whole class in itself. So I'm not even going to touch how we did all that real quick. I mean, I touched on it before, but setting all this up is kind of a pain. It took me a couple hours. All right, so now we're going to minimize this. So now what we are on, we should be protected right now, right? So now I'm going to come back to, now that we're running our VPN. Now remember, when you use a VPN, it's going to change up IP addresses. It's going to go to a secure IP address. So we use the 192.168.227.5 to be able to, that HTTP address on the very first part of this, on the unsecure one, right? So now that we have the VPN running, and it's going to be able to connect to the VPN server, which is going to run on a secure IP address, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to connect to our 10.8.0.1. That's going to be the IP address that we're connecting on a secure channel to the. So once I hit enter, it's going to the same site, right? It's going to the same login page, but this time it's more secure. So when you do your VPNs, when you download those to your phone and you pay your subscriptions, there's nothing you have to do to set up. Okay, so I don't want to scare anybody when I'm talking about setting up VPNs. Like for ExpressVPN, I have that downloaded on my phone, on my home devices, and guess what? The cool thing about it, it's a set and forget. You download it, you sign up, pay your subscription. Guess what? Everything else is done by the company on the back side. Here, I had to build it on this side. Okay, so now we're still capturing packets here on the attacker side, right? So as you can see, it's, I'm getting a lot of broadcasts and everything else. I've got a lot of OpenVPN here. That's because right now we are tunneled. We've got our VPN stuff right here. Everything changed to blue. So now we're in a secure environment. So I'm going to come back over here now as the victim. I'm going to enter my credentials. I'm going to do the same password as we did before. It's going to be capital PASSWRD 123. I'll even show you this. Boom, right there. The same one we just sent over the unsecure environment. And now we're going to hit sign in. Once again, we didn't get an error in this. We're connected to that page or whatnot and through a secure tunnel. So now what I'm going to do is stop the stream. Look at that. There's no more posts. There's no more anything like that. So it was right around the, right here. All right, so now we're going to follow. So now once you connect through the VPN, it's now following a UDP stream. So for those that are kind of technical, that you know what that means. It's the user datagram protocol. It's connectionless. However, when you go through the VPN tunnel, it's utilizing the UDP stream. So boom. Now look at this. On the threat actor machine, we no longer have anything that is readable. This is all of that. That's a lot of garbage. It's a lot of garble, gibberish. There's no way I'd be able to sit there as a threat actor and try to figure this out. There's nothing plain text inside of the packet captures. Okay, so there's, even if I search for, like we did before, even if we search for password, it's not highlighting anything. It's not bringing me to any search criteria, or it's not bringing me to any search hits on the plain text word password. This is all AES 256 encryption. This isn't going to be broken anytime soon anyway. As a threat actor, I'm not going to be able to sit there and decipher the Da Vinci code on this to try and figure this out. I'm just going to move on to the next device that is running just straight HTTP, which is your unsecure traffic, and I'll just go after them. So once I see somebody on a VPN, guess what? What you see on this attacker side is exactly what people, what threat actors are going to see. So be rest assured that, you know, I'm promoting VPN products, so to use in a public Wi-Fi, but even on your home network, even on my own home network, I've got VPN running. So it's always good to have that just as an extra layer of protection. And Tyler, definitely great to see you here, brother. Ginger Hacker, Dan Kelly. Hey, thanks, guys. Definitely love to see you guys here and checking out the channel. So, but yeah, so once again, open Wi-Fi, the dangers, the hidden dangers of it. Anybody that's sitting around, like I said, I just got done traveling last week. I was in a lot of public Wi-Fi areas. I was at a convention center. I was in hotels. I was in the airport. You name it. If it's public, guess what? More than likely, it's not going to be secure. And if they tell you it's secure, one best practice for you to ensure that yourself, before you connect to any type of network, run your VPN, please. Can it be bypassed? Yes, but we'll save that for another time. So, however, this here is going to help just build that shield of armor for yourself and for your family and for your information mainly. So that way you don't become a victim of credential theft, identity theft, and everything else. So, Ginger Hacker, yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate it. So that there, what we used, once again, kind of to kind of highlight some stuff here. So some things we want to be able to talk about, or just capture and highlight to kind of close this out. So I know I think I had this thing set up running for about 45 minutes. Sometimes I get talking a little bit or you get long on certain subjects, but I love sharing this information. So let me change up my screen here. Sorry about that. All right, cool. All right, so I love talking about cybersecurity. Like I said, been in the protection business for about 35 years. trying to help people, keep people informed. Check out my other videos. It's from a threat actor standpoint in a lot of them, but my point is, if it gives you pause just for 1 second to say, hey, you know what? I remember Rick showing me this. Maybe I do need to do this, or maybe I shouldn't do this, right? Then it's a win for everybody. So if you're working for an organization, it's a win for the organization because you took pause before you clicked on that link or clicked on that attachment or opened that email fully versus preview. Maybe you written your VPN or you turned on your VPN or you downloaded one because Rick showed you what actually happens behind the scenes. So it's a win for you, your organization, and for me as well, because I get satisfaction knowing that I'm keeping people safe or helping to keep people safe. So anyway, so use a VPN at public Wi-Fi spots, hotels, conferences, airports, wherever they have free, and once again, your favorite coffee shop. Prefer HTTPS sites. Like I kept saying HTTP in here. Rick, what's the difference? So HTTP runs for those that aren't network minded. I like to just tell people, keep it simple. It's unsecure. Okay, it's not secure. So if you see HTTP, more than likely it's not secure, right? Now, when you first go to a website, because this can get confusing, it could say, hey, HTTP, and then the website, right? And you could be like, Rick, that's unsecure. Well, thing is, it may go through a few layers before it actually gets to the secure layer for the final secure layer of what you need. So you may type in HTTP and then whatever it is, whatever website it is, and then it's going to actually take you to the secure site. So it's your final site before you log in anywhere, before you enter your credentials, before you do anything. Make sure you have HTTPS, and on your browser, what you don't want to do, or you want to make sure that maybe the little lock is on there. Okay, so if you look at that top of your browser, just to the left of your HTTPS should be a little lock. Make sure that's there. Turn on MFA. MFA, what's that? It's multi-factor authentication. Something you are, something you know, something you have, and also conditions of somewhere you are. So for those who are in enterprise environments, a lot of those conditions, the somewhere you are is also set up for additional multi-factor authentication. So, for us that have worked in the SOC before, we know that if that's set up as well, somebody's, just left for the day, they went home, and next thing you know, you see a login. You saw them leave at 5:30, and then at 6 o'clock, and we're here in South Carolina, and then at 6 o'clock, they signed in from, Seattle. Well, that's what's called impossible travel. So that's one of those other conditions that are on there as well. So MFA is always good. So I could get into a whole class on that as well, but I'm not going to. So Ginger Hacker, he's asking recommendations for VPNs. Sorry, I had another screen up. Recommendations for VPN. So I've been using ExpressVPN for a long time, and I've never had an issue with it. I like that. I also, because I have a subscription with LifeLock and through Norton, I kind of have that complimentary VPN service through Norton, which works as well too. And then also, if anybody's familiar with the Tor network, the Onion router and all that, they have their own VPN as well. It doesn't mean you're going to be taken to the dark web and to, wiki, black wiki list and everything else. It's just another VPN layer. So, and that one has a free version as well. So I have that also, but I don't use it as much. And then, so those are just a few VPNs you can use. Like I said, here on the demo, this here, and I love promoting open source tools. That's why I said in my own environment that I created, I've got an Ubuntu machine that is just strictly for log aggregation, and I've got a Waza server set up. So Waza, that's open source as well, and I highly recommend open source tools. They're community built, community driven. They can be pretty reliable. So for those that are under funded, undersourced, those are good to go to. So, but on here, on this demo for us, I downloaded OpenVPN Connect. That is a step above the OpenVPN GUI. It's like the next generation. So if you go to OpenVPN Connect or OpenVPN, it's going to have OpenVPN Connect. So Ginger Hacker, hopefully, thanks for fleshing that out. That was a good question. Highly recommend, like I said, VPN, multi-factor. Okay, so in what we did in the demo, we also talked about, just real quick, another takeaway is if you're on open public Wi-Fi and you're not using a VPN, please, 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 don't log in. Don't send sensitive information anywhere. Please don't. Social security numbers, usernames and passwords, bank account information, insurance policy numbers, you name it. If it's sensitive to you, don't send it. Take that quick pause, be like, hey, I remember Rick talking about this. Just take that quick pause, be like, you know what? Hold on a second. Let me actually ask somebody. So feel free to always reach out. If you have any questions, I highly recommend, please. I love doing these videos. I get requests sometimes for stuff. You can reach me at rgkelly@portzerocyber.com. You can also message me over the YouTube. Just put a message on any one of the videos, and trust me, I'll get it. And also, I just started a Discord this morning, as a matter of fact. So I'm like, I used to be like a non-tech guy and just only a kinetic guy way back when in my life. But now I'm like starting to get up on all the tech stuff. So shoot me a message. Always, you can reach out. If you have any suggestions, I want to see, hey, Rick, I'd love to be able to see how this works. Please, trust me. I love working in my environment, my Port Zero environment. I love attacking everything. I love seeing the stuff I can read in the logs of how I did it. I established an Active Directory network. I love attacking that. And I also like to take away from what I'm seeing in the logs or what I was able to exploit. And it also teaches me how to go back in and harden it. So what I need to do next time to be able to go in, change GPOs, change whatever rules and whatnot. So yeah, let me, so Ginger Hacker says, drop the Discord link. So like I said, I just created it this morning, and let me take a look real quick. Let me see what. Yeah, I'll drop it in YouTube. I'll drop it on one of the links that I have. So when you go to my YouTube channel, I've got the portzerocyber.com. I've got my LinkedIn. Oh yeah, you can shoot me a message on LinkedIn as well. And then I also have, I created a GitHub page for some code that I have another video I'm going to be dropping on unquoted service paths and how to what they are, how attackers can exploit them, and then how we can remediate them. And in my GitHub page, I have some PowerShell scripts that I posted in there to be able to help you run that in your environment, and then it'll run through your environment, find any, if any at all, unquoted service paths, and it's going to spit it out or output, say spit it out, layman's terms. It'll output out to a CSV file, which then you can open that up and it'll actually flag those, so you don't have to parse through tons of service paths. It'll highlight and flag ones that it noticed that are unquoted. So that'll be for another video. And also there's scripts in there that will go through it and then also remediate it as well. So once I get to that video, well, like I said, that link is already in there, my GitHub, but I'll also drop that once that video comes out as well. So that way it'll actually remediate it too. So for those that don't know, we'll go deep into that later on. Sometimes developers like to go in there, they'll create paths and then not quote them, and next thing you know, they're being exploited. So by threat actors, one of the cool ways threat actors can get into your environment and exploit. So, and what we're going to do is in that video, we're going to create an exploit, and we're going to use we're going to take the vulnerable service, and then we're going to create and transfer a file over to that unservice or the executable over to the unquoted service path, and we're going to see what happens on that. So, but yeah, definitely thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody showing up for the video. Like I said, share it, like it, share it, send the channel out to people. I really appreciate it. My big passion is for helping people. I've been doing it a long time, and if anybody can get something out of this, trust me, it makes my day. So, hey, thanks for watching, guys, showing up. Ginger Hacker, Dan Kelly, Tyler. Hey, thanks for jumping on. I know you were probably on YouTube and probably saw my live stream going and jumped on like you did last time. So same thing with Ginger Hacker. So I'll drop this stuff, connections again in here. Ginger Hacker, I'll definitely throw my Discord in there. Like I said, I just started this morning. I'm the only member, so I'm just trying to get this out. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching. And like I always say, stay secure, stay vigilant. All right. And keep learning. Never stop learning. Thanks for attending.